All right, welcome. Today, we're diving deep into a blueprint for totally transforming your trading habits. I'm talking about moving away from those impulsive, emotional reactions and instead architecting a system for intentional, disciplined success. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so on the left, you've got the reactive trader. This is the trader who's totally driven by emotion, chasing every single spike, constantly fighting that feeling of FOMO. Then, on the right, you have the intentional trader. Calm, rule-based, just following a clear plan. Now, be honest with yourself for a sec. Which one of these sounds more like you right now? Don't worry, because today, we are building the bridge to get you from the left side over to the right.
So, the first step on this journey, it's all about understanding these two paths a trader can take. We've got to make that fundamental shift from just reacting to whatever the market throws at you to acting with clear, deliberate intention. Honestly, this one distinction, it's the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
But what does it actually mean to be an intentional trader? Well, think of it as a state where your intellect, not your gut feelings or emotions, is in the driver's seat. It means you've already defined your rules for setups, for risk, and, this is a big one, you've decided ahead of time when you're just going to sit on your hands and do absolutely nothing.
And to really help lock this mindset in place, here is a super powerful mantra you can start using today. I act on rules, not reactions. Seriously, say it before you start your session. Stick it on your monitor. This simple phrase, it's like your first line of defense when those emotional decisions start creeping in.
Okay, so once we've established that mindset, it's time to build on it. This brings us to part 2, building your mental foundation. This is all about figuring out what really matters and pointing all your energy towards the things that actually create long-term growth. And that leads to a really critical question you have to ask yourself. What are you truly spending your time and mental energy on? Are you focused on the stuff that actually moves the needle, or are you just getting lost in all the noise?
The answer is to focus on what we'll call your big rocks. This is such a great analogy. Picture an empty jar. If you fill it up with sand first, guess what? There's no room left for the big rocks. But if you put the big rocks in first, the sand can just fill in all the little gaps around them. And that is exactly how we need to think about our trading.
So, what are these big rocks when it comes to trading? Well, there are really 3 core pillars. First, solid risk management. Second, that unwavering patience to just wait for your best setups. And third, the consistency to execute your plan day after day after day. Everything else, it's just sand.
You can actually turn this into a live filter for your trading. Before you even think about clicking that mouse, just ask yourself this one question. Is this trade a big rock, or is it just sand? Is it a truly high-quality setup that fits your strategy? Or is it just a distraction, a reaction to all the noise?
Okay, now for the last piece of your mental foundation. And this might be the toughest one. You have to learn to embrace discomfort. Yep. Because in trading, just like in life, real growth only happens right at the edge of your comfort zone. So what does this productive discomfort even look like? Well, it's that feeling of sitting through a drawdown and not panicking. It's taking a planned loss and just calmly accepting it as part of the game. And oh man, it is that intense discomfort of watching the market go crazy without you and having the discipline to stay out because it's not your setup. That is how you build real mental toughness.
Okay, so with that strong mental foundation in place, now we can start to architect your daily system. This is where we take all that internal mindset stuff and turn it into an external, almost automated process that can basically run on autopilot.
And here is a really crucial point. Great discipline is not about willpower. It's not about gritting your teeth and just trying harder. That's willpower, and trust me, it runs out. True, lasting discipline comes from building great systems. Systems that make the right decisions easy and the wrong ones hard.
So here's a simple but incredibly powerful system you can start using like today. It's a 3-step daily routine. Step 1, in the morning, you prep. Review the trend, define your risk. Step 2, during the session, you hunt. You are only looking for your planned setups. That's it. And then step 3, in the evening, you review. You look at what happened and you log what you learned. This structure, it turns trading from a crazy emotional roller coaster into a calm, professional process. But how do you even start building a system like that? Look, you don't try to be perfect overnight. That's the recipe for failure.
The key is to start with small, almost laughably easy, unbreakable commitments. And why? Because every single time you keep a promise to yourself, you build a little more self-trust. And that self-trust, that is the bedrock of discipline.
What do I mean by small commitments? Here are some perfect examples. You could commit to following your stop-loss rule perfectly for just 7 days. Or how about this? Commit to journaling every single trade for 1 week. Just 1 week. Or maybe you say, I will only trade my absolute A+ setup, period. Pick one of those and just execute it flawlessly.
All right, so we've covered the mindset and we've talked about the systems. Now, let's put it all together. This section is your tangible 12-week action plan that's designed to take you all the way from foundation to mastery. Think of this as your roadmap.
So this roadmap is broken down into 3 phases. The first one, weeks 1 through 4, is the foundation phase. Your only goal here is to build self-trust. You do that by keeping a journal and following just one small rule perfectly. Then, weeks 5 to 8, you hit the acceleration phase. Here, you start focusing on structuring your daily routine and really prioritizing only those top-tier setups. And finally, weeks 9 to 12, that's the mastery phase. This is all about resilience. Intentionally facing discomfort, like forcing yourself to skip an impulsive trade to really solidify your edge.
Okay, as we start to wrap this up, let's just boil everything we've talked about down to its core philosophy. Because it all comes down to understanding where your real, sustainable edge in the market actually comes from.
100%. That's it. That is the percentage of your long-term success that comes from your ability to execute your plan with discipline. It has absolutely nothing to do with predicting the future or finding some magic indicator. It is 100% about execution.
I really want you to let this quote sink in for a second. Trading success is not about predicting. It's about executing your discipline repeatedly until it compounds into mastery. You see, that is the secret. It's not complicated. It's just the simple repetition of the right actions over and over and over again.
And so, we kind of end right where we started. You now have the blueprint. You have the mindset shifts. You even have the action plan. So the only real question left is this: which trader are you going to build? The choice, as always, is yours.